Hi everyone and welcome to this week's live broadcast. What I'm going to be doing this week, I'm going to be doing things slightly differently to normal. So normally I do kind of a 10-15 minute and then have a bit of Q&A on the live broadcast. But what I've decided to do is to start doing my kind of 10-15 minute focus on this week's particular topic. And then I'm going to be in the Facebook group for around about half an hour answering any questions that anyone's got. Bit of feedback from everyone. Everyone said we don't always kind of be able to answer questions live in the group, ask questions, sorry, and that it'd be better maybe if I just hung around for a bit after the actual live broadcast. So that's what I'm going to try out over the next few weeks, see how it goes, see if that works well, and just kind of see what feedback everyone has. So just going to hang around for a few seconds whilst we just allow a few people to join the live broadcast who are interested in this week's particular episode. Just whilst I'm just waiting a few seconds, just want to say thank you to everyone for being part of the group. It's something that I'm really kind of trying to build up, and it's really for you guys a place where you can get advice, support, and inspiration from one another and from me. I'm in the group every single day, so if you do have any questions, please at any time just post in the group, whether it's about really kind of basic thing about marketing, just how to get started, or something advanced, or about productivity, or if it's maybe you just want to have some thoughts on kind of which logo you think would be better, or if you're getting a new logo designed, or you're thinking about getting a new website, want some ideas about what you might want to be including, whatever it is, I'd love for you to just post in the group. I'm in the group every single day. I will answer to every single question, and I'm sure other people in the group will also chip in with kind of any bits of advice that they've got or stories they've got that relate to your particular problem. So please feel free to use the group in any way you can to help your business and ask questions and just kind of get that bit of help that maybe you kind of otherwise can't find. So please do join in and post anything that kind of you feel would be of use. So what I'll do, I'll just refresh the page, make sure no one else has requested to join the group, because we do have a couple of people I know joining last minute when I kind of post around other social sites. So no, we haven't at the moment, so that's great. So I think we'll get started. Okay, so hi everyone and welcome to episode number 8 of my weekly broadcast in my Facebook group. This week I'm talking about how to find and work with ideal referral partners, or as I often like to call them, super referrers. So first of all, just thank you for joining me on this live broadcast or watching this as a recording. I'm going to hopefully give you some real value, give you some quick pointers on kind of why referral partners, ideal referral partners, are so important, a bit about my experience and how I kind of stumbled upon the idea of these kind of super referrers, as I like to call them. Then I'll give you 2 ways that you can start to identify potential ideal referral partners for your particular business, whatever it may be, whether it's whether you're freelancing or you've got a shop, whatever it might be, there's always these potential super referrers that are out there. And then finally, I'm just going to give you some strategies on just ways to kind of make sure that you get lots of referrals from those particular partners, and ways to make sure that that kind of relationship doesn't kind of fizzle out, and that you kind of really do see the real benefits from it. So let's get started. As always, I want to kind of just start with why I've chosen this particular topic. And so for me, it's something that I know someone mentioned it in the group a few weeks or a month ago, but it's also something that I'm actually looking into at the moment. Having shifted my business to coaching and mentoring business owners, I'm now actually in the position where I'm looking for my super referrers again. So when I was in my web design business, I had my kind of super referrers, I knew who they were, but now I'm looking for them again. So that's kind of why it's kind of I'm talking about it this week, and it's also because it's a game changer. So if you can make super referrers or ideal referral partners a key long-term strategy in your business, it can absolutely transform the projections and kind of the trajectory of your business. Just 1 or 2 key referral partners, depending on what kind of service or products you're offering, they can absolutely transform your business. So I know this is something that's really powerful, and if done and kind of implemented, I know that it can change anyone's business. So that's the kind of reason I really wanted to talk about it this week. And I'll start off with, just very quickly as I can, talking about my experience of these super referrers. So for me, when I was a web designer, kind of just building client websites, I always kind of saw lots of other people getting loads of referrals, kind of referred for work. I know I was doing good work because I was getting the occasional referral, but they weren't really coming in as often as I wanted to. I wanted to try and get more referrals coming into the business. So what I did, I kind of just went and sat down and I looked at all my referrals, where all my business was coming from, and just said, well, who's sending me the most work? And I just I put everything into an Excel spreadsheet, kind of put the values next to those people who actually referred me work and the value of what I actually got from those referrals, and just kind of sorted by that value column and just saw exactly straight away who was kind of at the top of that list. And for me, it was a no-brainer. At the top of the list were 3 accountants. So as soon as I did that, hit that filter and sort button, I instantly saw, okay, it's accountants that are my super referrers, or at least that's what I thought. And so what I then did, I then started going and looking and searching for accountants who might be interested in referring me work. And this was a very hit and miss approach. Some were really interested, some weren't. And so I went back to my referrals after, it was about 12 months later, and I went back to my referrals list and I said, okay, well, let's break it down further. Who within the accountants industry are the ones who are sending me those great leads? Who are the ones who are most interested in working with me? And eventually I kind of narrowed it down to 0 accountants. So any web designers watching, I highly recommend that you go out and talk to as many 0-based accountants as possible. The reason that these were kind of super referrers for me is because 0 accountants were much more interested in kind of helping businesses grow. From my experience, they were looking to kind of do more than just their accounts. They wanted to kind of help their clients do much more than just the annual returns or kind of saving a bit of money on tax. They were kind of wanting to get involved in lots of different areas, and that was perfect for me. So again, I then started to focus on 0 accountants, and that's where my super referrer kind of idea really came from. And I definitely had 4 0 accountants, but there were 3 that sent me a lot of work. And so there was one that sent me, I think it was about 14 or 15 leads in just 1 year. And if all of those leads from just that one referrer came through, I'd have been probably too busy to be able to take all of those projects on, or maybe I'd have looked to actually gone ahead and maybe hired someone to actually work with me in the business. So from just that one key referral partner, it kind of transformed my business. And I didn't get all of those 14 or 15 leads, but I did get quite a lot of them, and I still had a couple of other key referral partners. And that's how this kind of super referrer can really transform a business. And so that's kind of my experience of these super referrers. I kind of stumbled upon the idea, but if you're watching and you're interested in the idea, it's something that you can go out and really start searching. And so I'll just go quickly over the kind of 2 ways that you could start to try and find those key referral partners for your particular business. So the first way is very much the same way that I did it, which is to kind of go back to your list of kind of clients and work that you've gone ahead and completed, all the clients or sales that you've had, and just looking for all of those that are referred kind of products or services that have become through various referrals. And so then you just create an Excel spreadsheet or whatever kind of spreadsheet that you want, attach the value to each of those particular referrers. So for each referrer, you'll have, they sent me 24 leads and it was a value of £1,500, or 2 leads and it was a value of £4,000. Again, it will vary differently based on your particular situation. But what you want to do is create a list of those referrers and attach, so maybe over the last 12 months or 2 years, depending on how long you've been in business, and just really get an idea of who's sending you the most referrals. And then again, just sort by that kind of value column to then see who's at the kind of that top earnings list for your particular business. And what you'll find is that hopefully if it's like my situation, you'll have a group or kind of a category of people at the top of that list. It might not be that simple. It might be the case that it's a bit confusing or you're not sure. So what it might be is that you just need to kind of look in a bit more detail at that list that you've kind of created. So again, take a bit of time to kind of work through that list, and don't be afraid to try different things. Just because I instantly knew it was accountants, but if it wasn't so obvious, I might have gone, well, I think there's 2 or 3 different groups of people. What I'll do is I'll just kind of start reaching out to those groups and see how it goes and kind of just monitor my progress. So again, it's no kind of tried and tested system. It's just a process of kind of seeing what happens and seeing what works and taking it from there. The other way that you could do it is to look at your products or services and then look at what your clients need before they come to you. So, for example, a solicitor that deals maybe does lots of real estate type deals or kind of real estate work. Their perfect clients or their ideal clients will be people who are searching for houses. So they're searching for houses, and the people who are going to be helping them search for houses will be letting agents, real estate agents, not letting agents. So what they could do is go, well, before clients come to us, they're going to need to be speaking to real estate agents. So what we'll do is we'll go out and try and find one key referral partner as an estate agent. And then they may look at their other aspects of law and kind of work that they do, and then say, well, we'll try and find one key referral partner in each area. And that's the way that you can then start to kind of reverse engineer your services to kind of figure out what people need before they come to you, and then you can then start reaching out to those people that, again, my case is a classic example with web design. So before people come and want a website, they're generally going to have spoken to an accountant because they'll need to set up a business and kind of create the legal structure to be running a business. Sometimes they don't always do that, but it's a good chance that if you speak to an accountant, you're going to then want to go on and get a website or get marketing advice. So it's figuring out what your clients need before they speak to you, and then trying to figure out which companies are providing those services. If you then start making those people your targets and your potential super referrers, then that's going to make kind of a potential avenue of great referrals. And again, it's all a case of trial and error, because just because a client needs a particular service before they come to you doesn't mean that that company is going to be able to send on ideal referrals, because you're going to have an ideal type of client. And that's the idea behind ideal referral partners. They're not just sending you any old leads, they're sending you high quality leads. And going back to my example with the Xero accountants, Xero is a monthly based kind of subscription software. So I knew that everyone who was signed up to a Xero accountant had at least kind of 50, 60 pounds spare every month to pay for their Xero subscription. That means that they're willing to invest in their business, which again, at the time I was looking for kind of more kind of maybe £750 to £2,000 size projects in terms of web design. So I wasn't looking at the kind of the low end, I wasn't looking at the high end, and the kind of Xero-based accountants were seen to be sending through referrals that were really relevant. So it was brilliant for me. So that's going back to the kind of how to find your ideal partners, referral partners. That's 2 ways you can start to explore. And all you want to do is try and find a specific group of people that could be a super referrer or an ideal referral partner. And then it's a case of then going out and testing it. And that's where a lot of people who I speak to, I know they kind of start to find difficulty. And this is where you need to often get a bit creative. So for me, I decided that as a web designer, the best way for me to get in with these referral partners was for me to build their websites. If I built their websites, then they would have no problem at all referring me additional work. Just going to refresh the Facebook page just to make sure it is working, because I've just seen it stop. Yeah, we are okay. Yeah, so I went out and started approaching accountants and Xero accountants saying, oh, I'd love to build your website, I'm looking to work specifically with zero accountants. And I was very upfront that I would give them a massive discount on their website project if they were open to the opportunity of maybe referring me work. It wasn't that they had to refer me work. I was willing to take a gamble to kind of place a bet that once I did great work for them, they would be more than willing to then go and refer me work and refer me to their clients. So again, it was a calculated risk, but it was one that if I could do it once or twice, if it didn't work, I could then reassess the situation. But it did work, and it was one of those where instantly, kind of having built their website and we launched their sites, they would then go, oh, people would ask them, oh, who did your site? And then referrals started to come through. And it was also the case that accountants also had a list of existing clients. It wasn't that I could easily tap into them, but it was a case that you could start to say, oh, well, I'd love to give your audience or your clients some kind of free training or free downloads or freebies or giveaways, giving them, basically, I was then trying to make those clients that I built, those zero accountants, look even better to their clients, which again, just kind of wins you bonus points, brownie points, and increases the chances that those people will then go on to give you even more referrals. So it really is kind of trying to create some sort of strategy that kind of gives you that angle in. And it could be as simple as just building positive relationships over time. So it might be that if you know that there's a specific solicitor and estate agent you want to be kind of working with in that sort of relationship, then it's just maybe a case of building it over time, sending them some referrals. That's always a great way to get someone referring you work. You could always just start to offer them some kind of financial incentive. That's a great way to kind of get the in initially. Sometimes it's a case that you need to offer that financial incentive first, and then in time, they're not so bothered about it because you can help them in different ways and things like that. So it's really about getting a bit creative with that initial in, but once you're in, it's a case of then maintaining that relationship. It's making sure that it's really easy for them to refer work to you. So don't make it a kind of long drawn out process. Just say to them, I will speak to anyone that you refer through to me. I'll kind of treat them as a kind of my best friend, kind of do what's right for them. That's what I was always saying, that if I wasn't suitable for their particular project that this person referred me, I'd say, no, you need to go do this or go do that, rather than kind of trying to take on every single bit of work that came my way. So again, it was that kind of integrity, that kind of helping, doing the right thing in the short term, which will benefit you over that long term. And then it's kind of just things like, if you offer an incentive, it's a great way to just make sure that relationship, that the bit of time it takes to maybe send the referrals, do a bit of maybe admin in between kind of for that particular referral, and just kind of really valuing those referral partners in any way you can. So for some partners, it might be a cash incentive. For some, it might be just taking them out for a meal, or kind of taking them to a sports event, whatever it might be, to just make sure that you're maintaining that relationship and making sure that they value you enough to kind of keep referring you work. Because it's one of those where once you get that relationship, it can be absolutely amazing. And what you need to do once you've got the relationship is just keep it going, because that's where the real value comes from. Because once you've got the relationship, that can be a never-ending stream of leads and referrals of high quality coming through to your business. So just a quick recap, it's a case of going out and reviewing your referral partners, so reviewing who's already sent you referrals, starting to find and categorize who might be your super referrers, and then starting to kind of try different strategies to get in with those particular referrers. And then once you do go in, make sure that you're actually working, if not as hard, even harder once you've got in with a referral partner, to keep that relationship of high quality, so that you're then just kind of maintaining it, rather than having to, every 6 to 12 months, having to go find another key referral partner. You've got that long-term lasting relationship, which is always going to be better than that kind of finding new people, which just gets very tiring, very tedious over a long period of time when you have to do it over and over again. So that's kind of my take on how to find and work with ideal referral partners, or super referrers as I like to call them. If you do have any questions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments, so please do go ahead and ask a comment. Also, if you've got a wider or broader question, feel free to ask away. I will be in the Facebook group for the next half an hour, and if you're watching this as a recording, whether it's on YouTube, my Facebook page, or in the Facebook group, please do comment below with any questions that you've got or any feedback on maybe future topics that you'd like me to cover in the weekly live broadcast. For now, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for being in the group, and thanks for watching. I hope to see you next week on next week's live broadcast.